or Leah, Leah, I don't know.
1, 2, 3, let's switch this up.
Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going through the list of books that I am most excited to be released in the year 2023, which we are literally just a couple of weeks away from. One of the things that I've learned is that release dates change. So it's possible that the dates that I say in this video may have been accurate at the time that I filmed it and may not be accurate by the time that you watch it. So just keep that in mind just in case. Just putting that disclaimer out there. The first book that I have on my list is Exes and O's by Amy Lea. It's supposed to come out January 10th, 2023. I think I talked about in a different video that I like time loops or like time being out of order or like time travel and all that kind of stuff. Another thing that I really like is watching people go on like a series of really horrible, catastrophic, but hilarious dates. So this book follows Tara and, is it Kevin? Just kidding, his name is Trevor. It's definitely not Kevin. It follows Tara and Trevor. And Tara wants to find love, but like she's basically tired of like meeting new people and dating apps are trash. So she decides it's going to be a bright idea to just reconnect with her exes and make it work with one of them. And so she ends up enlisting Trevor's help in trying to reconnect with her exes and that whole situation. So it just sounds like it's gonna be like a really funny rom-com. I'm assuming that somewhere along the way the two of them will probably end up like catching feelings for each other. So the next book on my list is All the Dangerous Things by Stacy Willingham, and this is supposed to come out I think also January 10th. So this is by the same author that wrote A Flicker in the Dark, which was one of my 5-star reads for 2022. So I am very interested to see what her next book is going to be, if it's going to be just as good. So this book follows Isabel. I was reading the description of it and literally like the very beginning of the description instantly reminded me of Hercules, which is my favorite Disney movie. But I'm gonna read you the beginning of the synopsis just so that you can like hopefully make the leap that I made to Hercules. 1 year ago, Isabel Drake's life changed forever. Her toddler son Mason was taken out of his crib in the middle of the night while she and her husband were asleep in the next room. Is that not giving Hercules? Like that scene where like Pain and Panic come and they steal Hercules out of his crib and then like Hera's like, oh my gosh, the baby, and Zeus is like, no. Like that was what I immediately envisioned when I was reading that. So that was enough to sell me on this book. But it's basically going to be her trying to uncover clues or witnesses or evidence or whatever, trying to figure out what happened to her son who was behind this. And along the way, I think it starts like unraveling maybe some memories or something from like her past. I really liked A Flicker in the Dark, and that had unreliable narrator kind of vibe going on, so I imagine that this one also will be similar to that because it talks about her like blacking out and stuff like that, which the main character in A Flicker in the Dark also did quite often. So I'm hoping that this book will be good. Like I don't want it to be too similar to A Flicker in the Dark. I don't want to like feel like I'm reading about Chloe all over again. The next book that I have on my list for most anticipated reads for 2023 is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, and this comes out January 17th. So this basically follows, I think, two siblings, like a brother and a sister, and their parents pass away and they have to come together. I think they might be like a little estranged or something along those lines. They're like not like super close. And so now they have to work together to get the house cleaned out and get it ready for them to put it on the market and sell it. And I guess some like spooky or like creepy, eerie, whatever kind of stuff starts happening. And yeah, it's about them dealing with that. I think the synopsis talks about like the house not wanting to be sold. So very interesting. I've never read anything from Grady Hendrix. Was it My Best Friend's Exorcism or something? And Final Girl Support Group. Those are two books that I definitely want to read of his, but I have not read anything yet. But this is now going to be added to that pile of Grady Hendrix books that I want to read. Next on the list is The True Love Experiment by Christina, and this is supposed to come out May 16th, I believe. I think this may be part of the same universe as The Soulmate Equation, which I have not read. But I think that the main character in this book, in The True Love Experiment, makes an appearance in The Soulmate Equation, but I'm assuming that you probably don't have to read that book to understand what's going on in this book. This to me sounded really interesting because it's basically about a romance novelist who like does some self-reflecting and realizes that like she's been writing all these romance books about falling in love and all that stuff, and she herself has never been in love. So she is approached by a like director or something who is tasked with creating a reality show, and so he wants her to be like the star of the reality show, showing her falling in love. So it's kind of giving like The Bachelorette. It's also like, in my mind, I instantly thought of Love is Blind, but that's only because I was watching Love is Blind at the time that I heard about this book, so those two things just kind of went together. I have a lot of rom-coms on my list, I'm realizing. Even though I'm more of like a mystery, suspense, thriller kind of girl, I do love a good rom-com. But I feel like I have more rom-coms on my list, like recently, compared to mysteries and thrillers. I've never read anything by Christina, or at least I haven't yet. Number 5 on the list is Once More with Feelings by Elissa Sussman. I believe this is the same author that wrote Funny You Should Ask, which I didn't read, but I've seen it everywhere because it was a very popular like TikTok book. So this book is set to come out May 30th, I think, of 2023. And I'm just gonna briefly, like, I'm not gonna read the whole synopsis, but I'm gonna read like a little like chunk of it. Then Katie Rose is living the dream as America's #1 pop star, caught in a whirlwind of sold-out concerts, screaming fans, and constant tabloid coverage. Everyone wants to know everything about her and her boyfriend, Ryan Lenevi, the hottest member of adored boy band Crush Zone. Katie loves to perform, but hates the impossible demand of stardom. Maybe that's why she finds herself in the arms of another Crush Zone member, Cal Kirby. Quiet, serious Cal, who's always been a good friend to Katie, is suddenly Cal with the smoldering eyes and very good hands. One unforgettable night is all it takes to blow up Katie's relationship with Ryan, her career, her whole life. Now, Kathleen Rosenberg is okay with her ordinary existence and leaving her pop star image in the past. That is, until Cal Kirby shows up with the opportunity of her dreams, starring in a role of a Broadway show he's directing. The two haven't spoken since the joint destruction of their careers, and each of them blames each other, making their reunion a tense battle of wits and ego. This sounds so good. I hope that this book lives up to the expectation that I have set for it based on the synopsis. I'm going to be crushed, absolutely gutted, if this book does not live up to my expectations, because this sounds like a banger. It just felt like, I don't know, it felt like celebrity drama, which is another thing that I'm really into, which is why I really enjoyed The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Celebrity drama is like so interesting, not so much in real life, but like in books. There's just something about celebrity drama and like peeling that curtain back or whatever that's just really interesting and entertaining to me. Needless to say, I'm very excited for this to come out. Next on the list is Love Theoretically by Hazelwood, and this is set to come out June 13th, 2023. So I have not read any of Hazelwood's books. To be honest, the synopsis of them just don't appeal to me. They don't sound interesting. I know that, not Love on the Brain, that was is it The Love Hypothesis was the first one? The synopsis for either one of them, like neither of them sounded very interesting to me. This one does sound a little bit interesting. It's about a girl who is like an adjunct professor. So she's also a woman in STEM, just like all the other books. But she's an adjunct professor. And then to make up for her income, she kind of like moonlights, if you will, as a fake girlfriend. Elsie makes up for her non-existent paycheck by offering her services as a fake girlfriend, tapping into her expertly honed people-pleasing skills to embody whichever version of herself the client needs. The guy comes into the picture because he is the older brother to one of her clients, so that sounds like drama. And he also is like the head of the physics department at the college that she wants to land tenure at. So it sounds like a lot of drama, a lot of messiness. I'm here for it. So this book sounds way more interesting than the first two books. So we're getting close to the end of the list. Next we have The Only One Left by Riley Sager, and this is set to come out June 20th, 2023. It's about a massacre that took place in the 20s, and there was a girl who was like a teenager. She was like 17 or 18. She was accused of like being the one who was behind it, that did it. And so now I think we're jumping to the 80s. And now she's like 70 something years old, and she's had like a number of strokes, so she can't speak, she can't communicate. And she had like I don't know if it was like a live-in nurse or someone who like came to the house to like take care of her, and that person just kind of like fled in the middle of the night. So now she has a new nurse that's coming to take care of her, and the only way that she can like communicate with her is by, I think, typing on a typewriter. And so now she's trying to communicate with the new nurse or aide or whatever she is, like the story of what happened, the events that led up to that massacre all those years ago. But while she's like trying to tell her story and give the new like aide this information, some kind of way the aide is also learning about her predecessor, like the aide that was there before her, the nurse that was there before her, and like why that person left. And so it's kind of putting the old lady, it's putting her like reliability in question, and she's like, I don't know if I can trust what this woman is telling me. Sounds like it has a lot of potential to be really good. And last but not least, we have One of Us is Back by Karen and McManus. Now, I'm not sure when this is coming out. This is the third book in a series. So the first book, One of Us is Lying, was about Simon, who dies in detention, and the other 4 students that were also in detention with him become suspects. So they basically go through the whole story, like trying to defend themselves and clear their names and trying to figure out like who did it. And so that gets resolved. One of Us is Next. It's basically a copycat Simon, and again, they're all trying to figure out like who did it, and there are secrets that are coming out and all that kind of stuff. And so now the third book is called One of Us is Back. So in this book, it's basically a return to Bayview, and there are still secrets that are going to get uncovered, and I think someone goes missing and they're trying to figure out like what happened, like what's going on. There's a new like game similar to the game, I guess, in the second book, and nobody knows what the rules are for the game. So it sounds like it's going to be a little bit of a hot mess. I'm curious to know like who's back. I wonder if she'll bring back a character that everybody thought was dead. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, those are all the books that are on my most anticipated reads for 2023. Let me know down below if any of these books made it onto your list, or if these books sound interesting to you, if you plan on picking them up when they come out or pre-ordering them before they come out. And as always, my socials, Goodreads, all that good stuff, Amazon list, everything will be down below in the description. Do all that YouTube stuff, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Christina Lauren is a very popular author, or they are popular authors, I don't know. Do you talk about them as one person, or do you talk about them as 2 separate people? I never really know.